Really getting uncomfortable. I was in this elevator, crowded with a bunch of people, and as I was going up, 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 I realized that everybody was talking around me, but I couldn't hear anybody. I was only going up 4 floors, but boy, I tell you, my my stomach started getting nervous. It felt so unusual. My hands were sweating. I was like, when is this elevator going to get to the 4th floor? Everybody's talking. I can't hear them. I'm stressing out. Ding! The bell goes off. The door opens. I get out of there. I could never get out that fast. Now you're probably saying, Don, wait a minute. You said you couldn't hear anybody talking, but you heard the ding. Yeah, that's right. The reason why was everybody in the elevator was deaf. They were all doing American Sign Language. I was the only one there that could not communicate. And I thought to myself at that time, wow, is this what it's like to be deaf in the regular world? And then I realized another thing, that at that moment in time, I was a disabled person. I was not able to communicate. You know, it's interesting, having been a classroom teacher for over 10 years. I always thought it was interesting when I saw somebody that was labeled disabled, that has some sort of disability, and they outperformed people that were sometimes labeled gifted and talented. And, not to get in trouble with IDEA, which is the American Disabilities Act, but I think our definition sometimes is too narrow of what disability is. For example, when I was just a kid, my older sister brought home her fiance to meet the family, and he was very intelligent, and he was a hard worker. He had a great job, very nice guy, articulate, and he was also blind. And I'd only met 3 blind people. One of them was before this, but one of them was my sister's college roommate. And so I didn't know, how to act at first around him. And of course, I had these dreams of I don't know if you remember that TV show that didn't last very long called Longstreet. And so I was kind of fascinated by this whole blind thing. But we sat down later that evening, and I was talking to Mike, my brother-in-law, and he said he found out that I like chess, and he said, "Want to play chess?" And I said, "Well, sure." So we set out the chessboard, and I wasn't really sure how we were going to do it. And he explained to me how you called off the squares and how to move things and to communicate with him. And so we did, and we played, and I sat there amazed because he was holding all of those pieces in his mind as he was playing the game. And I thought, wow, I felt so stupid. In that case, he was blind, but I couldn't see. He had a clearer vision of the game and what was going on than I did. Another example, is of what we do is when we see people that are supposedly disabled. One of the big areas right now is like, economically disabled. And I think of this one young fellow who was born into poverty. I mean, his dad was just a laborer. His mom died when he was just a little tyke. He His father was illiterate, uh, and because they moved around a lot, always poor, he never got an education. And of course today we'd call family services in because, you know, He was having to work, help support the family, and he didn't get to go to school and all these things. And we would just have that family all ripped apart. But Abraham Lincoln was that young man, and he grew up to be one of our greatest presidents. And then there was this gal that was um, born in rural Mississippi. Her mama was a teenager when she had her, and they were so poor that she had to go around wearing potato sack dresses. And not long after that, she moved up to Wisconsin in the inner city, and at the age of 14, she gave birth to a little boy because she had been raped. And that little boy died in his infancy. There's a woman that was ever disabled by her environment. It was. But you see, Oprah Winfrey didn't let her environment define her. She defined her environment. So, folks, as you look at other people that may, at first glance, be what you might consider disabled, be like Yahweh in the Bible in 1 Samuel. He says, man looks on the outside, but God looks at the heart. And we're not God, but we can look at people and look at beyond what appears to be the outside. Remember, there are a lot of great attributes besides intelligence. There's determination. There's creativity. There's passion. There are so many things. In my experience in life, I've seen that intelligent people oftentimes do succeed, but sometimes they don't. But people that are determined and persistent and creative, those people almost always are. Folks, what is disability? Let's change how we look at others.